Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode review of The Bad Batch. Today, we're taking a look at Season 2, Episode 9, The Crossing. Or as I like to call it, the Long Live the King episode. you probably know what I'm talking about immediately. So, just starting off, this seems, like it's just another adventure of the week. The Bad Batch are on another mission for Sid. They're going to do some. Going to do some mining. Cue Minecraft joke here that I'm not creative enough to come up with. And like right off the bat, their ship gets stolen. Which I have actually thought of this several times. Like, do they ever lock that thing? Does it have a lock? It's like, because a lot of times they do leave someone with the ship, but then there's other times where they just leave it and they just go back to it and it's untouched. And I'm just like, I mean, they do a good job of hiding it a lot, but sometimes I just think, is someone gonna take that? So it was especially really funny in The Mandalorian when that idea of someone's ship being messed with was kind of like the first time it came to fruition, where it's like, oh yeah, the Jawas just totally scrapped the Razor Crest. And it had to be put back together with duct tape, spit, and determination afterward. So I do kind of like this, modern era of Star Wars where they're starting, there's been so much content that now they're starting to ask kind of the small questions like, yeah, what would happen if there's spaceship that they just landed there and don't seem to lock if someone just happened to steal that or strip it for parts or something. So the really quick before I really dive into the rest of the episode, I do kind of maybe want to address the idea of who the thief is, because there's no way that this is just some random thief. This is going to be like this has to be a character. Whether or not it's a pre-established character is another matter, but this has to be a character that we've got to be seeing more of later. Just based on the fact that I feel like that they actually rendered a character model for this person, because otherwise I feel like they totally could have done just someone looking at them through the binoculars and then the ship flying off on its own. That gives you a clear sense of, oh, someone just stole this without actually having to see the thief steal it. It saves time and budget on making a new character model, unless this is going to be like an active character in another episode. So the question is this a returning character or is this a new character? I feel like there's a good chance it's a new character, but I think it would also maybe be cool if this were Caleb Doom before he's Kanan Jarrus, because it would kind of bring the whole, the whole season or the whole series kind of full circle a little bit, with the pilot episode of the show having Caleb running off during Order 66, and then they meet him again. And then, of course, there is that line in Star Wars Rebels where Kanan does tell Ezra that, clones would later tell him that they had chips in their head that made them do it. And, he could have just met another clone along the way at some point and gotten that information out of him. And we don't necessarily need to see it, but I think it would be kind of cool if we saw it. So who knows? Maybe this will be Kanan, maybe it won't. The reason I am kind of leaning toward it maybe being Kanan is the fact that this person does seem to be smaller of stature. They don't appear to be a full-grown adult, and if they are a full-grown adult, then they're humanoid, but they are not actually human, and they're smaller in stature. So I'm kind of the opinion that, yeah, maybe it could be Kanan. So I guess we'll have to wait and find out. Or, maybe it is just some random person we're never going to see again. Their ship is long gone, and it's like... we're never going to see it again. I hope not, because it is a really cool ship, and that's just like one of the rules of Star Wars is, well, I was about to say is you don't mess with the good guy's ship, but Mandalorian season 2, Razor Crest goes boom, and that's just kind of it. It just gets turned to ash, and there's nothing left of it. So I guess, that rule's already kind of been broken by another Dave Filoni project. So who knows? Maybe this is the last we've seen of the Marauder, and it's just, and it'll show up in like, maybe it'll show up in Mandalorian season 3, just sitting there rusting in like a scrapyard or something, and Mando and Grogu are just going to walk by it and not pay any attention to it. But all of us Eagle Eye fans are going to do the Leonardo DiCaprio snap point and go, oh, hey, look, it's the Marauder. It's been here for 25 years or whatever. Oh boy. So who knows? I am interested to see the outcome of that. So yeah, that's so the rest of the episode. In some ways, it's your standard fare of the batch going on a mission and stuff. But I feel like that because once again, I mean, I hadn't even seen the episode, and I already saw reactions online of people going, another filler episode. What is with this show and the filler episodes? And then I watched it. I'm like, this isn't a filler episode. This is not. It's not the most intense or exciting episode. And it doesn't have these great big revelations and things like like last week's two-parter with Palpatine and the stormtrooper being created officially and everything like that. But it does have a really strong sense of the plot, quote unquote, isn't necessarily what's important in this episode. The characters are what's important in this episode. This is a very good character-driven episode where everything just kind of goes wrong and to a point where things kind of come to a head, and then we have Omega kind of blow up at the whole batch, actually. Not just, I mean, it's largely targeted towards Tech, but she does kind of vent her frustration to the whole batch, and she kind of stalks off and everything angrily because she's not really sure how to deal with change so much. It's like, for the first 10 years of her life or whatever, she's just Nala Se's little pet or whatever, running around Tipoca City, and she doesn't really know any other life. Then suddenly her life does change, but it seems like it's changing, but it seems like it's for the better because now she's got this little, found family. They're her brothers and everything. And so, she feels like, as long as I have them by my side, I'm kind of secure and everything. But then Echo leaves voluntarily. That is a big shakeup for someone as young as Omega. And that is definitely a negative change because now she's actively lost someone, because it's like her feelings towards Nala Se not exactly clear at this point. I don't think it's like, does she see Nala Se as a mother? I don't think so. Yeah, that whole thing is complicated. I'm interested to get back to Nala Se's part in this story because we haven't seen her at all this season. But she seems very eager to help out the Bad Batch and to learn more about them, and is fine traveling with them and everything and helping them escape from Tipoca City in that first episode. So she seems very comfortable and content with the Batch. So now suddenly losing one of those members, that is a big shakeup to the status quo for her. So yeah, of course she wouldn't know how to feel about that, and the fact that Tech does seem so dismissive of it, she can't understand that, and Tech can't understand that she can't understand that. So you have this really bad situation of they're not sure how to communicate with one another, and kind of a fight between siblings. Because yeah, that's exactly what it is. So I feel like, and getting a little insight into Tech, which we've kind of been getting a little bit more this season, which is appreciated. Of he's so analytical and almost droid thinking, and how, and his little. I don't know how to process all of these emotions necessarily, but just because I feel differently than you doesn't mean that I don't feel. Really powerful introspective stuff there, from what is supposed to be quote unquote a filler episode. So if they kind of, and while I feel like it's maybe a touch rushed, I would have liked a little bit more of a longer conversation between, like, Tech, let's elaborate on that. And Omega, ask another question. I feel like the Bad Batch's therapist is like, okay, now elaborate on that. Now, Omega, how do you think you can help Tech feel about Echo Lee? And then here comes Wrecker going down the waterfall like Tarzan. And then it's the little thumbs up he gives, while hilarious, and it's like you kind of ruined a good moment that I would have liked to have been extended a little bit. Again, you're on Disney Plus, not Cartoon Network. You can go an extra 3 or 4 minutes if you feel like it's warranted. So, but I say that, but maybe the next episode is going to delve into that further, and so then that's not really going to be much of a critique, because it's like, oh well, I mean, it's considering they're still stranded at the end of this episode. This is obviously the start of the second half of the season, and it's maybe not going to be as much jumping around from place to place, and it is going to tell a longer, a more obvious, longer form story that doesn't have as much jumping around and side adventures and stuff, to where people could say, "Ah, oh, this is filler." It's like, this is. I mean, I could. People's going, "Oh, this is filler," out of context, but it's like this could be the first episode in what people could go, "This is some of the best Star Wars storytelling ever." So I when we get to the beginning of an arc, I never jump to judging quite yet, because it's like we don't know how the arc is going to end up. But at the same time, this could also be, it's like, wow, that was really terribly written, and that really was kind of a filler episode that had nothing to do with afterward. Because who knows, maybe at the beginning of the next episode it's just going to start with Sid flying them away from the planet, and that's going to be that, and they're never going to talk about their experiences there again. So, but I don't know. I feel like overall this episode worked for me. It seems like this is clearly the first chapter in a longer story that they're going to tell. But I did just find it really funny that they just blatantly did Star Wars Lion King here with the stampede scene. I mean, it was Kevin Kiner's music, but I heard Hans Zimmer in my head with the stampede of the wildebeests and everything, which is funny because that's James Earl Jones as Mufasa famously, and of course, who is James Earl Jones famously in Star Wars? Darth Vader. So it's just, I just found it really funny. When they're all running from the space wildebeests and everything, it's like, oh, hey, it's Lion King. But yeah, it's these kind of smaller episodes. I just don't really feel like there's too much to really dig in. So I feel kind of bad with this only being 12 minutes. But I mean, I don't know. I feel like that's kind of a little bit on par with some of my other reviews for the season for these single episodes. And especially since this is kind of the first part of many, potentially. Because this episode is the crossing. The next one is retrieval. So that tells me that most likely Sid's not going to just get them at the beginning of the episode. It's probably going to be like an entire ordeal of, well, the sandstorm is wreaking havoc on navigation systems. I can only pick you up from this certain set of coordinates and everything. This could even be like maybe she hires maybe she hires Fennec Shand to come pick them up or something. And so it's like, we have this kind of tense moment where she's like, relax, I'm on your side this time because Sid's paying me to be on your side. So it seems like the entire episode's probably going to be about them getting to a rendezvous to get retrieved. And then that's kind of a little two-parter there. After that, though, I'm still kind of lost on to where we're going with the story. Metamorphosis, episode 11, who knows what that means. Episode 12, The Outpost, who knows what that means. It's got something to do with an outpost somewhere, I'm guessing. Probably, maybe has something to do with the cloning stuff, but I don't know if in episode 13, Pabu, that could be anything. And then Tipping Point, The Summit, Plan 99 in the next couple weeks. So yeah, I don't know. So we'll have to see how that all plays out. Now, right before I go, there is one thing to discuss in terms of Star Wars overall, is that next week is, of course, no, not next week, because I'm already, because of how I do these reviews, blah. So this week's episode is Retrieval, episode 10. But then the week after this week, episode 11, so I guess technically I'm correct, next week's episode. Episode 11, Metamorphosis, that comes out March 1st. You know what else comes out March 1st? Season 3 of The Mandalorian. So I'm not quite sure how I'm going to be doing this, because I don't necessarily want to be uploading 2 Star Wars reviews on the same day. So maybe I'll do Bad Batch on Fridays and Mando on Monday or something. It's like, I don't know. Like I said, I'm going to figure that out. But I mean, maybe I will just upload 2 separate Star Wars reviews on the same day, because I do like the Mando Monday moniker. But I mean, it still also kind of applies to the Bad Batch because they're clones of Jango Fett. So So I don't know quite what I'm going to do with that yet. I know I'm definitely going to review them separately. I'm not going to just do, hey, here's an hour long where I talk about Bad Batch and Mando in the same go. No, I'm not going to do that. They're separate shows. They don't overlap really, except for creative talent behind the scenes. So they will still be separate reviews. So I'll figure out how I'm going to do that. I've still got a little over a week before I really need to figure that out. So yeah, but I'm excited for more Mandalorian, and of course I'm excited to see where the Bad Batch continues to go. So yeah, that'll be pretty much it for this review. So thank you for watching. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, all that great stuff. Remember to follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Those links are in the description below, and I will see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.